Michael,
Congrats.
I'm excited. You know
Because
why?
of the coffee?
I'm excited because of the coffee. I'm excited because we have entrepreneur in the table. I'm excited because I'm with you.
And there's an Israeli
And
connection.
Israeli connection,
Gotta
Jewish
love that.
connection, Moroccan, Jewish connection.
Yeah, that's fun.
Man,
Please
Jake?
don't
Perfect.
test my Hebrew.
Oh,
Please.
okay.
okay. I would
Don't
not.
test mine either.
Don't worry.
Jake, welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
We were connected. We were just talking about because of Tian. For anybody watching, Tian's been on the show. I had been wanting to talk to you because I love your LinkedIn game and just kind of we'll talk about it, your guerrilla marketing techniques, which I think are working, but maybe you know whether they are or not. But I also like kind of just how candid you are out in the ether. So
Because it's Gen Z, man.
Gen Z, because he's younger than us. Yep. Yes. So welcome. I'm pretty sure everybody knows you because of Prefer. You guys just few weeks, month back, closed your A. So you guys are calling it?
They're having me call it a pre-A. Yeah.
Pre-A.
Yeah.
Oversubscribed pre-A if I look at all the LinkedIn posts.
Yep.
We're going to dive into that a little bit. You brought us drinks. First guest to do so. This is cool. I'm going to open up my
First one.
latte.
Who are these
Yeah.
other? You gotta up your other guests.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, get all
Usually
all
people
your,
say that was the first time. They're like, you guys got to do better.
Yeah.
It's
So-
chilled, man.
Now this one, tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this is our iced oat latte.
Yeah.
This is our consumer product. This product uses 100% Prefer.
So there's no coffee in it.
Yeah,
It's all
so this
Prefer.
is there's zero coffee in this product at all. We use this.
There's still caffeine.
Yeah, we
there's
add
still-
caffeine.
Yeah.
You add caffeine.
Yeah, we
so
add
I'm still
caffeine.
getting a hit.
Yep. And this is
it is
oat milk.
tasty.
So yeah, we launched this. We're in around 100 locations around Singapore. And this is really see this as a use case of our ingredient, which is our main business.
And made in Singapore? No.
The ingredient's manufactured here,
Yeah.
and then it is canned in Vietnam.
Got it. Interesting.
Love
And
the
then brought it.
color, love the fonts, love the weights. Yeah, design.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's a B on the chart, so I don't have to.
Yeah, we
feel so
had to
bad.
keep it a B.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like it.
In Singapore, you see B, and you can drink and feel okay.
We'll talk about this one later when we get to the other
That was
formulation.
tough,
Sounds good.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot to jump into, but we'll let you kind of explain things as we go rather than just stopping to explain all of it because I think people hear a lot about Prefer, maybe not globally, but I know you guys have global ambitions. So we're going to start with one of our first starters is what AI tool do you use every day?
AI tools. So yeah, it's actually Prefer AI. We're rebranding so we can go raise some more money.
Nice.
But no, realistically, I use AI to answer hard questions and help me just like try to come up with more clear and thoughtful responses that could be customers or even like when I get this question, I actually went to AI and I was like, how can you help me answer this question?
Nice.
And then it told me to talk about how I use AI to answer questions like this. So it was almost like AI inception, but that's sort of like on a daily, I'm
I
just
hand
using
rolled
it.
most of these just
Yeah.
FYI, so, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Which tool though? ChatGPT?
Yeah,
or-
ChatGPT. I mean, we have Gemini Pro because of business. So for most copy stuff, I use ChatGPT. And then for anything market research, creating customer lists, Gemini, I like ChatGPT because of the memory. It knows a lot about Prefer.
Yeah.
So yeah, each thing.
But don't you
one.
think it's kind of a bias? Because sometimes you want something innovative or out of the box thinking.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way I found it with the memory. Like, stop with the memory. Give me something new. No?
I see. For me, I actually just appreciate that it knows me and it's like consistent. And so I know sort of what I can get
I'm in
out
that
of it.
camp too.
Yeah. But yeah, I've like made it given me very specific responses. So it doesn't like sugarcoat anything. It doesn't say I can't answer this because I'm not AI, like none of that. So I've got it sort of down to exactly the assistant that I need.
Cool.
Yep.
How the heck did you get to Singapore?
Man, I'll give the long story. We got time, right?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's the
So
fun part.
I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. I was always playing tennis growing up as part of tennis academy. I got recruited to play tennis at a school in LA where I studied neuroscience, got really into startups. And then I was recruited by a biotech startup in Tel Aviv to go and join their team, part of their clinical trial team. Along the way, I learned that you can use biotech in food. And I thought that was really cool. And they were calling it food tech. And then I joined a fund that was investing in food tech. And then I heard that in Singapore that they were commercializing cultivated meat, which was like cutting edge food tech. And so I asked my fund if I could move to Singapore and look for startups in the region. And yeah, I moved to Singapore to scout for food tech startups here. And then,
So that was with the fund.
yeah. And then that was
cool.
two weeks in. I met my co-founder DJ. We got into Entrepreneur first, and then I met DJ, and then we started Prefer like 2 weeks after I
So
landed.
you were doing Prefer. So you found like it was the founder dating thing at EF.
Yep.
Is when you found him, which I love about EF. I bummed that they left Singapore.
Me too.
But for me, it was too quick. They found me. How they found you? What did you do to recruit you? Because some people sitting over there and it's like, this man is like all over the place. How they can find him?
So it sounds pretty cool when I say I was recruited, right? But I mean, I was like that kid sending out 1 billion cold reach outs to everything. I was just like super curious guy. And like, that's one thing when I see some kid in college that's like, hey, I want to start a company. Would you give me like 15 minutes of your time? I'm always like, yes, because I was that guy and no one responded to me. And so, yeah, I was always just active and trying to follow curiosities and like make opportunities for myself. And I guess that's like in short why I ended up in Prefer. I was just very curious about like what's going on out here and had to come check it out for myself.
Did you think about what risk I'm taking or just go with the flow?
I love risk, man. I'll take a risk at any chance I get. Like if I get an opportunity to take more risk, like I'm there.
Are you becoming more risk averse as you age a little bit, or is it still kind of steamrolling with you?
Not yet. I think I'm still steamrolling. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll grow up.
Yeah, just turned 28, right?
Yeah, just turned 28.
Yeah, got it.
But yeah, I just think risk is such a powerful thing. Like I'm always seeking it. So
what's the drive from it? It's the chance of success. It's that it keeps you kind of motivated.
Yeah, I mean,
because you'll have another end of the spectrum who goes, "Oh my God, risk," and they run, right? Like you're kind of running towards it almost.
I just want to have a huge impact. I want to have a huge impact on the climate. I want to have huge impact for my family and generations to come. Like I don't see a ceiling on myself, and maybe that's like egotistic of me to say, but we just get this one life, and I just love risk, and I just like want to see how far I can take it.
When you say climate, do you mean like thousands of people, millions of people? What do you mean by saying climate?
By climate, I mean carbon footprint reduction. I mean, how many gigatons of CO2 can I help to take out of the atmosphere or help to avoid from ever being created, so we can continue to be habitable. I love Earth.
But how did you get to this like carbon thing? You not wake up in the morning in Texas or LA and like, I love carbon.
Yeah.
I want to have like more CO2. You know? Like, how did you get to this point?
Yeah, so it's always been for me about like solving the biggest problems possible. And I studied neuroscience originally because at the time I really believed that mental health, especially for Gen Zs, was like the biggest problem to solve. And I still do believe it is a massive problem to solve, but I got a little bit jaded, for lack of a better word, about potential solutions to mental health issues for our generation. So I started also thinking, what are some other things I really care about? Really care about the earth. I really care about fighting climate change. And like, so what are some, and that seemed like there was more solutions to that to go and tackle. And that's why I ended up getting into food tech and making that switch from more like biotech neuroscience into more like food tech related things. So I guess just, it's been a constant evolution of what I find to be the most important thing.
So I think so people understand how to connect these two dots, you should probably pause and explain Prefer, because it's what you're doing as to what's creating this less carbon impact, right?
Right,
so
right.
Go ahead and do the spiel.
That's a good time. I forget to do that.
No, that's good. No, we didn't ask, so go ahead.
So at Prefer, we are creating ingredients that are under threat in a more affordable and more sustainable way, starting with our first two products, which is coffee and cocoa. So the problem that we're solving is that a lot of our favorite foods that we love, like chocolate, like coffee, climate change is really impacting how they grow. So that means that supply is going down. At the same time, people really love this stuff, so demand's on the rise. So that means that the price is going up. But it also means that the mass market is starting to get priced out. So at Prefer, we recreate these ingredients from other raw inputs that aren't coffee or cocoa, that we can make in a more affordable way and more sustainable way, so that the mass market can continue to enjoy these things regardless of what's going on with the climate.
And the coffee replacement is a completely different process and archetype from the cocoa replacement, or does it share some relationship at all?
Yeah, so it's the same technology. So it's the same equipment. And so that's why we call it internally a platform fermentation technology. So you change inputs, so you change ingredients and microbes, and you change fermentation and roasting parameters, and you get different flavors. But it's the same sort of hardware that goes into it. So it's more scalable because you don't have to buy all different equipment, because you can create many different products from the same equipment. So yeah, it's a platform fermentation technology.
And that part of the process you do in Singapore.
Yeah. So we do all roasting and fermenting in Singapore today. We do have plans to scale, and this was all announced last week with our fundraise, that we'll be scaling up in some other country in Southeast Asia that's a little more affordable. So yeah, that's
still
the plan.
Finding that spot.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to ask me right now, it's one of Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, likely.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense. More space,
more space, cheaper everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get
just the way it is?
Do you have like kind of a how did you get to that? Did you have labs? Did you testing? Did you have like scientists? It's we did fast forward, but people were like, the heck, they did all this type of magic.
Yeah. So early days, like at EF, when it was just DJ and I, we were fermenting in jars in his kitchen and like roasting on his family home stove. So that was like the first few months. And then we got a grant from the government. Thank you, Singapore government. We got into a space, a small little bench. So we got, I would say, a little more clean and standardized. And that was enough for us to go to customers, take this, hey, try this, get a bunch of feedback, get a bunch of LOIs and MOUs. And then we took that to investors like our dear friend Tiang and said, hey, look at all this demand that we're getting in. We just need your money to scale it up, and then we can reach milestone XYZ. And then we got into our facility today, which is a manufacturing space up in Sunoco, like up above the Woodlands. Allowed us to get even more demand, go to market, 100 locations, expanding to Thailand, Australia, raised the 4.2 that we just did, and now we're expanding even further. We got some pretty ambitious goals.
So for that announcement of the 4.2, and then you have, hey, it's like a tough market to raise money on. Yeah, it's not an easy. I'm coming from cyber, so it's...
That is very Israeli, by the way.
It's never easy. It's never easy to raise money. Yeah, let's put it on the table. But raising money for this segment, it's even tougher. And you've been more subscribers onto that. Tell us, if what's the journey or how it become like on that superpower, accelerating your raise.
Yeah, I mean, raising money right now is really hard. I mean, just to put it in data, it's the worst time to raise money for our specific industry since 2015. So the least amount of money is going into our industry in over a decade. But yeah, we were able to get this round together.
And you're here too, right?
Yeah, and you're in Singapore.
I'm guessing adds to the complexity.
Before I say anything, we love the Singaporean government. But yes, it does add to
but I'm saying the umbrella of Southeast Asia struggling a bit right now.
Well, I mean, so like the more important thing is that we are out of geographic mandate for the US and European investors. And so I would go to a bunch of US and European investors and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And they said, love the space. I've been looking for a company like this, but we legally can't invest in Asia. And so that was hard. So we sort of just got crossed out just because of where we were from a bunch of capital. So that's a problem, raising money here. We ended up getting our lead investor, co-lead from San Francisco. They didn't have a mandate of no investment in Asia. So it ended up coming from the US in the end too. But yeah, raising money, especially in Asia, is hard.
And who were the other ones in it?
I was co-led by @ONE Ventures and Chancery Hill Capital, and then Forge participated as well.
Got it. Yeah, super exciting. And Tiang's a coffee freak, so
he is.
I'm sure.
And how did you get to these investors? Because I always like to contribute back to this ecosystem, and they listen like, "Hey, we want to have investors in the US, Silicon Valley, San Francisco." How did you get to them? Personal connections. Cold outreach? What was your process?
Yeah, so to get in touch with these investors in particular, @ONE was an introduction from a shareholder, 500 Global, and Chancery Hill Capital has been on our monthly investor update for 2 years. Like I just got their email and sent them updates.
Did you know them or you just send it?
We met them at the seed round. Okay. They said no at the seed round, and I said, cool, can I continue to update you? And then for the last 2 years, they've been getting a monthly update. And then when we went to go raise again this time, we sent it first in that monthly update. And basically the guy who was sort of a champion within the company, Leon, was like, let's have a look, let's catch up. And then they came and saw our facility, did the diligence, and ended up co-leading this one. So
yeah, and that's a good tidbit, right? Because I think it's, you know, I, as a previous VC and even worked with Young, sometimes I would tell people like, hey, the passing thing is just, it is what it is. Sometimes the dots don't line up. It's a timing thing. It doesn't mean anything good or bad. It's just, it's a process. And I always tell them, but keep us up to date because you never know, right? And you'll generally find people that immediately kind of get it. I think like yourself, like, yeah, I'll keep you up to date. I'll treat you like one of our first class citizens in this matrix. And you never know. Other people will be like, oh, since you passed on me, yada, yada, I'm off. And I always tell people like, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah. Like you have to hustle. You have to. I mean, man, this last round, I don't know if you've ever said a word so many times where you forget the meaning of it, but I heard the word, I heard the word no so many times. I literally don't know what it means anymore. Like, but what you must have kept some track of this. What is the, how many you've talked to and the no's you got to the, what, 3 said yes. What is that ratio?
3 said yes. I had legitimately over 200 different funds that I spoke to. Yeah. Not like a email, like an actual, I had even a first call.
Yeah.
So I'm not that good at math, but I think 2 out of 200 is around 1%.
Crazy. Yeah. But it's legitimately what has to happen.
That's how you raise money right now. I mean, I spent 6 months doing 20 plus calls a week, and that was like my full-time job. And I like for any founder that like us is building deep technology and you know you're not going to reach profitability before your runway runs out, fundraising is the most important job. Like you need to keep money in the bank. So that was like what I spent all my time doing.
Yeah. Do you guys buddy up on it, or that was your thing? And
like with DJ?
Yeah.
I would do first and second call, and I would bring DJ in when they requested. And like first and second call, I would talk DJ up so much. By the time he comes on, he just like sits in silence.
He walks on
like
water.
Aura of a god. But yeah, so we do help each other out, and we do have a lot of like synergies in what we're good at.
Yeah. How many times out of the 200 you finished the call, DJ ask you how was the call, and it's like it was amazing call and nothing happened? How many times?
I mean, 198. The other, that's like, I always come off and I'm usually quite optimistic because you kind of have to trick yourself into being, if you're not, then like, you're just going to be so bummed out and like, man, that's a hard way to live. So yeah, I try to stay pretty optimistic throughout it.
Yeah. You can't get down about it. I think it is what it is, right? You gotta keep going.
The reality is like, I'm giving the same pitch and I'm having the same conversation. I'm answering the same questions, but someone said yes and someone said no. Yeah. So it's really like up to them. I'm doing like everything I can control. I try to. So yeah, it's a game of staying positive and staying resilient.
Yeah. So you shared on LinkedIn, I didn't write the 9 steps down, but I that post you did where it's kind of like, hey, I'm done with this. Let me share with you like my playbook. I'm just curious, like where did that get born out of? And was that really your playbook that you followed, or is it in hindsight, you're going, hey, here's a playbook. It's, you know,
that's a good question.
Because it was pretty good, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was born out of my other founder friends asking sort of how I did it. And so I took the time to actually reflect and think through like from start to finish what actually happened. And so, yeah, I mean, just, I don't have it off the top of my head either,
you don't have to go through the whole
thing. But I mean, yes, I did it because like, that's what happened. So it was just a reflection of like
this is what I was doing.
Yeah. Because there's so many people that were like, how did you do it? Like, and they just had a bunch of questions. So I just kind of wanted to put it all into one space. And actually it was really helpful for me because next time I go out and raise, I'll just like go and do
I was going to say, follow your 9 steps.
Yeah.
What's one of the ones you call out as like, maybe was more contrarian or surprised you in looking back that like, hey, I've been doing X and it's working and I never thought to do it because it's such a process, right? Like,
yeah, I think one that, not necessarily contrarian, but this is probably the most important and overlooked thing is like when you're having a conversation with a VC, just like answer their question so directly first. Like if it's a yes or a no, say yes or no, pause. And if they want you to say more, then you continue. But like a lot of the times founders will just be so deep in their niche that if you answer a yes or no question, I'll go into the different caveats and details about like these edge cases. But like investors are talking to like 6 of me a day, or if they're a good VC, they're talking to me like 6 of me a day. So I just need to give them like the basics and make it very easy to explain to their partners why this is like an investable thing. Yeah. So yeah, just keeping it like very direct
like just
in those conversations.
Answer the question basically, rather than have the Shakespeare around it or something.
No, I
Just
think
answer
it's
the
I
question.
think it's a great nugget, because when someone asks you, not just a VC, he asks you because he wants to get an answer.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get the other story and what's around it and how you thought about it. No, I'm asking a question. Just answer me.
Yeah.
And I think it's a simple thing, especially, in a way when you are trying to get money or trying to provide a narrative. So, and I think the second thing that we just mentioned before regarding keep investors that says no as part of your community. We like to call it, some of my friends in Israel, goodie bags.
Okay.
Because when you keep them with your progress, it doesn't mean that you burn the bridges with them when they say no.
Yep.
And I think this is something I would, if I would you and or anyone else that listen, I will double click on that. I will stick to that. And I think this is, and you can agree on that. Yeah, it was super powerful of one of your playbooks, no?
100%. I mean, the no's that we get, we try to take no as hard as it is, as gracefully as possible. And sometimes we really don't agree with the reasons why. And we'll say, like, respectfully, this is why X, Y, Z. But we'd love to keep you in the loop. Can I add you to monthly update? And yeah, it's very emotional, obviously. Like, fundraising is an emotional roller coaster. You've been through it. Like, I'm sure that you've both been through it, actually. Yeah. So that's definitely the most, like, emotional part of running a company, I think.
Do you ask for the reason why no, or they're offering it? Like, how does that play out?
Typically do, but really just for feedback about how I can communicate it better for this round, but also know what milestones I need to hit to go raise some more money the next round. Yeah.
But speaking kind of candidly, like, correct me if I'm wrong, some of them are just ludicrous, right? Like, kind of like they invented that. Like, I mean, it's okay to say no, don't get me wrong, but sometimes the reasoning of the no is just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, so for me, I always believe the no. I don't necessarily always believe the why. And that's okay. I at least ask for it just to know.
And if they are ghosting on you, would you ask him, hey, what's going on? Or no?
Usually the last thing I'll say to them is something slightly harsh. I'll just be like, hey, you're no longer interested. And if they don't get back to that one, like, I just leave them alone.
it's
and that's
done.
okay. Yeah.
It's like an ultimatum.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, they know it's the last one. And it's just like, hey, there's no like, I hope you're well. It's just like, hey, like, are we done here?
Yeah.
And like, that's fine. I sometimes will say, like, I'm trying to save both of our times here. Let's just get real for a second.
Yeah. It's back to that thing. Just answer the question. Right?
Just the question. Yeah.
Same thing from the other side.
Same, it is.
Just say it.
Yeah.
I don't know who answered this once. Like, I don't know if it's Tim Fair. Of course, I heard it on podcasts or something, but or it was in the Radical Candor book or something, where they said that, like, and I'm guilty of doing this, where I'm actually trying to, like, save everybody time by just giving an answer.
Yep.
The problem is sometimes a delivery of that kind of answer can be seen as harsh, and it's like, look, believe me, it's saving you time. And like, the most precious thing we all have is time. So this thing of not dancing around it and I'm just cutting to the chase, you may take as a negative. It's not anything. In fact, I'm being very positive because I'm just, let's save everybody time. Here's the answer.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you like it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so many of these people that, like, can't do that back to you, you're just like, can you just answer?
It
like,
is highly, highly frustrating.
Yeah.
And like, tech bro to tech bro and like logical mind to logical mind, it makes so much sense to just answer the question. But there's so much like emotion that comes from conversation. I think when I was living in Israel, it's just such direct communication. Like, even those, like, they don't mean to hurt your feelings. Sometimes like, oh, like, that's kind of harsh. So yeah, there's definitely a balance between just like being direct and answering the question, but also like being a human being to each other too.
Yeah.
Also think that Ian Go said it. Part of being an investor is not just to be a good investor and choosing your investments, is to be in the rejection business.
Yep.
You need to be very skilled, because most of the time you say no. If you don't know how to say no, maybe you need to improve your skills.
Yep.
Do you think that?
I think that I respect investors more when they give me like a real thoughtful no. And I understand that it takes time and effort out of their life to do that. But if I was one day a VC, I would want that. I would want to be that way. So I think it's just like being treated how you want to be treated, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
Let's go back to the coffee. Okay.
Please.
And the powder, you call it coffee extender.
Yep.
Tell me why. Tell me what's the narrative about coffee replacement. This is the way you describe it, right?
Yes. So we position ourselves as a coffee extender really to focus on the problem to solve. So the problem to solve is that coffee is getting more expensive, and the customer pain point is that they can no longer afford the coffee in the way they used to. What people are not asking for is a bean-free coffee. Like, no one wakes up in the morning and is like, I want no beans in my stuff today. But like, people wake up and they're like, damn, my coffee is 50 cents more expensive than it was 2 weeks ago. And like, that was already going up in price. So by positioning it as a coffee extender and actually blending with coffee, so not creating an entirely 100% bean-free, but instead maybe 50% coffee, 50% prefer, it allows our customers to reduce their cost to their customers while it tastes exactly the same. So the experience to the consumer is exactly the same, but because they're blending with prefer, it reducing costs and also reduces in carbon
How
footprint.
much do we try here?
Just pour a shot.
Yeah.
You ever had a shot before? E21?
I will test it again.
Go ahead.
But I have a question in my head
Yes.
while I'm testing it. How do you make sure that your providers of the coffee will price it less? Because they don't have to tell the customer. They can stick with their 7.45, for latte, and still paying less for their coffee beans.
So it is in their best interest to be winning the price war against their competitors. So just to frame what sort of businesses, thank you, appreciate it. So it should just taste like coffee.
And then this one, will they buy it? They'll be buying the powder from you to use in what, like when they make a shot?
So
or
just to frame the
packaged
customer
drinks?
a little bit better, I'm not talking about cafes.
Okay.
I'm talking about large FMCGs, so ready to drink and instant companies.
Got it.
And what I mean by it's in their incentive to price it lower because they're all competing against each other for the mass market. And so if they can help to reduce their cost down by 10%, they're going to start winning versus their competitor. And so it more becomes a game of who can have prefer exclusively. And so that is what one day will likely get acquired, is this technology that allows them to reduce their costs.
Nestle. Nestle, are you listening?
I don't say the N-word.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
Nespresso. No. Yeah. Got it. So it's a chance for them to like change their product matrix in some sorts with the doing it. And then that's how you guys see this kind of playing out. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So
that allows you to all look at the global play as well, right?
correct. I mean, coffee and cocoa are global commodities. And so they're all using soluble coffee or cocoa powders in these FMCG products. And so our product just like directly fits into their R&D and procurement and marketing. So they don't have to change anything about what they're currently doing. They're just getting a more affordable price, and also we're helping to reduce the carbon footprint.
Yeah, got it. And then the caffeine would keep coming from the Arabica side of the mix?
So we add caffeine or don't. It really depends on our customer. So if they want a decaf, we can do decaf. Or if they want like double caffeine, we can do that. We add caffeine as an ingredient, like just like Red Bull or Coca-Cola does.
Yeah.
That's pretty readily available.
Squirt some in.
It comes in from somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the playbook is what's kind of new this side of the house, right? Do you still see doing this? Is this a way to keep furthering the brand? Is that how you think of that?
So yeah, this has always been the long-term play, even from the start.
Got
but
it.
we didn't have the scale to even be talking to these companies before. We went to them and they would say like, how much can you make? And we could make like, I don't know, 100 kgs a month.
And I
would start to say like 100 kg, they'd say an hour? And I'm like, no, I'll come back in, give me 12 months. But yeah, so this has always been the focus. But to get there, we launched this consumer product, what we call as a reference design. And it's a reference design to essentially show what a use case of the ingredient is in a format that our customers would launch.
Yeah.
And as we scale at a price point that they would also have it at. And if we can show them that basically sales are going up and to the right in this sort of format, it de-risks the consumer for them. So they know if they integrate Prefer into their can, they have a less risky sort of chance, or they can basically go to their shareholders and say, hey, look, these guys are doing well.
You're
in
like
this
priming
format.
the pump for them on the brand side of the
Exactly.
house. Yeah, that's
Tiang actually was the one that introduced us to the phrase of reference design. Something to do with like semiconductor chips
such
or
a
IBM
nerd,
or
Tiang.
something. Such a nerd,
talk
man.
to you about this. Yeah.
I want to do an MRI to your brain. And as entrepreneur to entrepreneur, you always try to think about the big vision. And this is the big vision.
Right.
And you're getting the nose also from the manufacturing. How you get from big vision to very laser focus one? How do you do the shift? Because this is so hard for lots of entrepreneurs in different domains, by the way.
Okay. So like, how do you keep big vision while like executing the details?
Correct.
Okay.
Because you could stuck over here and say, man, I cannot do hundreds of tons of powder.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm someone that I'm able to always keep big vision like very clear and in the back of my mind and like communicate it when I get on podcasts like this. But on my daily, I'm like really in the details. And so I'm like very execution focused. So it's almost like separate parts of the brain because I know that if I stay focused and disciplined and executed, like the big vision will happen because I know exactly what needs to happen over the next 18 months, 2-3 years. But yeah, so I just stay in the details and go and execute it. So I don't think about big vision that much until getting asked by people like you, and then I have to go to that part of my brain as well.
Got it.
Yeah,
you have to find it.
Yeah. But it's always the same. It's been the same thing since we started. Like the mission's always been to future-proof food and beverages under threat. That's it. And then we found coffee to start, and then cocoa has been our second product. But we have plans to go hazelnut.
Now, is there a cocoa product that's out in the Prefer or not yet?
We just announced it, so it is always on me. I was like checking my pockets, like I think I got some on me.
Yeah, I saw you moving. I'm like, what's going on?
I think it's my backpack. But yeah, we just launched a cocoa powder that is not public yet. That one we are launching B2B strictly. So we're doing some co-branding. We're looking to commercialize that.
And people use it for baking,
I'd say three main segments: confectionery, so like your Kit Kats and stuff like that, baking, and like ready to drink drinks.
That would be
so
cocoa
like chocolate
based.
milks, stuff like that. So those are the three main segments that use cocoa powder. And it's the same value proposition around taste, price, and sustainability.
Yeah, interesting. So I saw you wrote some stuff, and I can see it when you were talking about these shops you're getting into and stuff like that. This whole notion of sampling, pilot, PO, this framework. Is that kind of a framework that you guys have, and that what drove arriving at that?
Yeah, so it's much clearer for like B2B, like selling the powders. For the can, it's a little more simple. It's like sit down, try it. You like the taste, you like the price. Okay, how much margin do you need? Put it on the menu. Like that's pretty straightforward. Yeah. And that's like that can be like selling it in a day.
And is it you doing that?
Yeah.
The selling of that?
Myself, and recently got an amazing team to help support the consumer business so I can really focus on the B2B side. But for the first like 2 years, I was like running around with the backpack, like try this, try that. They're like, what is it? Like, don't worry about it. Do you like it? But it's just like that. Tiang always makes fun of me because I was rocking around with two backpacks. Like one had my computer and stuff in it. The other had like a bunch of random coffee spilling all over the place.
You need to have a good posture, you know.
Exactly. But yeah, so that is that sales process. The B2B sales process with the powders, that takes years. Like we've been talking to some companies. We just announced our partnership with Ajinomoto in Thailand, large FMCG, and we've been talking to them for 2+ years. Yeah. So the process for that is initial sampling. They like that sampling. Then we go into an NDA so we can send their lab samples. They create some formulation. This R&D time can take a long time. And then once that product is good that they formulated, then we all try it together. And if it thumbs up from everyone, we then go to procurement. We talk pricing and volume. Once you talk pricing and volume, then you go to marketing. Marketing, okay, how do we put this on packaging? And then you create a plan to launch. So all of that process. Is
that product announced? That one is like, we can guess what.
With the Ajinomoto, can't say anything yet. Yeah, I can't say anything yet. What I can say is we have a product that is public and live with a company called Melvados here. And Melvados has made an ice cream using Prefer as like the hero ingredient within it. It's like a coconut latte. And that was the process we went through with them. So that's an example of how that product came to be.
Let me put my criminal on mine for a second.
Please.
On that part, when you give the sampling, are you sitting at home and you say, oh no, they're trying to try to make the powder to see if they can do that? I know they can't. And then they're going to call me in a few months and say, okay, come on in. Do you have these thoughts in your head?
Like the big companies?
Yes.
Like if they can do it themselves?
Yeah.
Of course they can. But it'll take them 5 years for what we can do in 5 months. So it's more of like a speed thing. And so they know that. So what is more likely to happen is that they're just watching us and seeing if we can grow enough to where this is something that's either acquirable for them or if they want to just purchase the ingredient. Or in more likely chronological order, they'll purchase the ingredient until they start using so much volume of it that it makes more sense for them to just buy it and bring it in-house.
Got it.
So I'll ask you like a sidebar question, because we started this with like, you love risk. You keep mentioning acquisitions, but where do you really want to take this? Do you sometimes think you just go all the way with this becomes a big company that you take public, or do you like looking for that, I hope to get bought? Like,
it's not something that I think about that often. I just think about different options that could happen.
Yeah.
We could go public and we could compete with the huge ingredient and flavors and ingredient houses. That's something that I'd be really excited to do. We could get bought by XYZ company for a lot of money and can have generational wealth and also make huge impact through that. So both options I'm very open to. I think everybody has a price, and like that's realistic to think about. So yeah, I think it's pretty realistic.
Fair. It's fair. Yeah.
You have the check, man.
Yeah. But yeah, beyond all, it's just about having the most amount of impact
just
possible.
build a great business.
So whatever route that takes, whether it's acquisition or IPO, I feel like that's like, again, such crystal ball gazing. It's even hard for me to think about. I'm just trying to like execute and solve problems.
Yeah. And I guess a lot of the value is also in the platform, right? Like,
the entire value is in the platform, is in
regardless of what you're kicking out of it. Almost, it's this framework.
100% that allows us to access new markets all the time. So coffee, cocoa, beyond that, hazelnut, vanilla, citrus. People asking for matcha-free matcha these days. So using this platform, we can create all sorts of flavors. So it's about maintaining focus and executing, and knowing that we have an ear to the market, an ear like, okay, matcha's at a shortage. Is that something that we want to think about? Like, no, let's focus on coffee and cocoa. But we always have that ability in the back pocket because we're more of a flavors company than anything.
Yeah. And is this equipment you guys design, or the equipment is stuff you buy and it's what you're putting in and all the math around it?
The equipment is very commercially available on purpose so that we can license out the IP to any food company.
Oh, and let them let them do it on site.
Yeah. So the partnership we just announced last week with the coffee firm in Australia, they are licensing our IP for their manufacturing and their distribution, where we take a royalty share on that.
Got it.
So it gets back to like just focusing on this as a technology, a real food technology company.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's really the focus is in the technology and the value of that.
And that's like kind of 3 income streams then, right? There's this, and there's someone doing this on their own with your stack, correct?
Yes, if I can count that high. But it would be really the focus on the ingredient and IP licensing.
Yeah.
And then again, this for as long as it's needed to really prove that point as a reference design.
Yeah, I guess you could imagine someday you're like, I don't need to do this because there's enough drinks out there made by somebody else that say prefer on them.
I do think our consumer business will forever be a thing, and we will continue launching more products. So maybe this has served its purpose, but really we need to showcase cocoa, different chocolate products. Maybe we launch our own chocolate bar.
Yeah, give me a C4 replacement with like 200 milligrams in it. I'm good to go.
We have thought about that. We're actually planning to launch.
It's not a terrible idea, man. I always tell people that, like, no, I didn't have my coffee today. Why? I went to the gym. I had a C4. It's got 300 in it. And I'm like it's just assisted living through chemicals, right? Like, but like, give me that with 250 in it, and
I mean,
same
I think
purpose,
they're
right?
saying like the modern day cigarette and coffee is like a Celsius and a vape. Like that is like the way the world is going.
Scary,
so it is a little scary, but like we have thought about like framing it as an energy drink, and because we have the ability to really
Just
dial
dose
in
it up.
caffeine, like we would do like a more frame it like a caffeine or like an energy drink. But because this is really focused on being a reference design for coffee companies, we've stuck towards like just being more familiar as
I'll
coffee.
beta test the one with more in it.
Go ahead. I mean, we can just put some more caffeine in one if you want.
Going back to your being a Gen Z, and today to be the face, the content creator, it's part of you. You do pop-ups, you do walk-ups, you do collabs, you do so many things that are founder-led, content. And you need to invest a lot of time on that, which is 100% inbound. How do you deal with all of that?
Yeah, so I will say like at the beginning, it was really overwhelming, and it was the right thing to do with all my time. It's just to be getting the brand out there and creating awareness. Today, like I said, I do have more of a team that supports the consumer side of the business, so I'm not going to pop-ups and getting pulled that way or that way. In terms of like making social media posts, probably do like 2 a week. They take me like 10, 15 minutes to write. That's like not too much time. So I've really more recently, the past year or so, focused completely on the B2B side, doing a little less of that. But at the beginning, it was entirely all consuming. And I mean, it was people like Tiang and our investors that were like helping me be more clear about the next phase of the business needs more of your attention and time on B2B and focusing there. So yeah, the team on the consumer side is doing an amazing job.
But do you want to be the face of Prefer? You know, like Elon Musk
you
is
are
Tesla.
now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I mean? It's more brand person than brand.
I think that's not as important to me. I think DJ and I do a really good job of each sharing our own story in our own way. So it's less about, for me, like being the face of anything like that. It's more about just like having the most impact possible. And if that means like putting my face on a bunch of stuff, then my face is going to be on everything. So yeah, it's more of a consequence of trying to have some impact.
Yeah. And it must have, did some of that cross over when it came fundraising time and people's recognizing you and kind of seeing that, or do the funds not see that side of you?
The like content side, or
Yeah, like as you talk to these VCs, were they aware of you in the fact that you're kind of out there from a branding perspective?
Yeah, it helped a lot with fundraising. I mean, I got a bunch of inbound from not just customers, but also investors saying, saw this post, would love to have a 30-minute chat. And so like that brought in a bunch of funds. So in addition to warm introductions, also getting some inbound from investors. So it's been super helpful for every aspect of the business, just being out in public and building.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would think so, just because of you're pretty catchy in that mode, I think, right?
But you were always speaking about the coffee and the thing, not other stuff.
Yeah, I never got into the thought leadership about anything. It's mostly, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's basically like Mr. Beast of LinkedIn. It's like, we did this thing, and then it's just like my face big.
Yeah.
And it's
that's actually what I kind of equated it to, was that style, whether it was intended or not.
Intended
works,
intended to be big numbers and sharing wins, but also sharing some vulnerabilities too. Yeah. That's been a big part of the journey for me as well.
Yeah, thanks for skipping let me tell you about B2B marketing based on the collab I went to at the pop-up at the mall, because we would have all tuned that out. So.
I think that like when I first started doing a little bit more, and it was never part of the plan to post and all this stuff, it was really never part of it. But my friend from college texted me, was like, I will unfollow and block you on everything if you make one of those terrible LinkedIn posts. So like I always think about him in the back of my brain before I hit post, is like, would my friend from college like actually enjoy reading this? If yes, then I put it out. But
it's
if
a good
not,
barometer,
I just don't.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It helps.
Remember where you come from a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. One of the other things you say a lot, welcome to day zero. Where's that? I mean, I can kind of guess what you mean by it, but where's that mantra kind of coming from? And, do you still stick with it? Because I think it works for some people, this, we're always starting over kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that one was inspired by Jeff Bezos. I look up to him a lot, and a lot of his like customer obsession and shareholder letters. I've like read those, like some people read like fiction. I'm on the shareholder letters, but I just don't know what other day it could be. Like the only way to like stay positive and keep like the highest ceiling ever is to continue to believe that like you're just getting started. And so the way that we think about it is like, okay, it's still day zero. So like we're not like attached to anything. So we can stay as close to the market as possible. And if we really truly see ourselves as a technology company, we can continue just to like hear problems, and we don't get like too attached to like things that have been done. So I think that's like why it's always day zero for us, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was thinking why it's not day one. Why zero? One is also good. No,
you haven't started
day
yet.
zero. Day one's like meaning you're something's wrong, right? That's the way you think about Amazon. Like, because actually a lot of us joke that it's like Amazon's gotten 0.5, like it's not quite day zero with the way they act sometimes.
I had to challenge you.
Yeah.
Even like on our products internally, like for our coffee product, it's called 0.4 because it's like our 40th iteration. But even if we get to like 0.9, we'll probably just keep going like 0.9999. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get to 1. Like
So before we get to the closers, I'll let you take one more question for you.
Yeah.
And this is, when we were talking outside, you talked about the differences in Israeli and Singapore and stuff like that. Not want to go there from a controversial thing, but more from a, how instrumental has the Singapore thing been to your whole trajectory? Because I think a lot of people don't know that there's grants, that there's some interest in Singapore about this food thing. And like, it's new to some people because there's that typical startup. I'm just building a SaaS thing. It's software and I'm at a co-working space. You have a totally different thing. You needed space, you got equipment. Singapore's uniquely kind of positioned I think, for stuff like what you're doing, but a lot of people may not realize that.
Yeah, man. Singapore has been everything. Singapore has been the like kickstart of what I would really consider like my like career and like really exploding in terms of like what we can do. I would say, just to give it some comparison, like when I was living in Israel, I had a bunch of ideas. I was doing some random stuff. I started an NFT project. Like I started a real estate company. I was always like trying to start stuff, but there was like no structure around that. And so they failed quickly. And as soon as I got to Singapore, there was so much structure everywhere. And I was like, wow, you can really do some amazing things with the grants and the government support and all these huge population countries all around us. It seems like the perfect place to start a company and then take it out to abroad, like in our backyard in APAC. So yeah, Singapore has been literally everything. We've gotten a lot of grants from the government, a bunch of accelerators here, talent from A-Star, talent from amazing colleges. So yeah, I was very, very glad to come here and realize how much structure there was. And I'm very happy to be the guy taking risks here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I think a lot of people just forget there's all these pieces. Even A-Star, some people don't even know what it is. And there's a ton of talent and research. And there's even a lot on this whole alternative food thing that exists. Like you said, the culture meat thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize if you're looking in to do stuff like this, you can't probably pick a better place, you know? Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that's working out for you guys.
Yeah, and
thanks
also
for
the
the
backyard
drinks.
in Israel is a different backyard. So
Yeah, well, you're here too now, right?
yeah. Anyway, okay, let's go to our closures, right?
Please.
So yeah, you're 28, but I want to take you maybe 8 years back.
Not back. We always do this way back in your 20s.
But I'm not talking only on you yourself as a 20 years old, also as your friends and as 20 years old. What would you tell this 20 years old that you already know now for a certain?
What would I tell myself at 20?
Yourself
or anybody in that category?
Anyone in that
right?
category,
That you've learned.
I can start with myself. This is like, we've been having a lot of fun and giggling on the podcast, and I appreciate that. But this one's kind of heavy. Like for me, like I would just tell myself, like, you are worthy. Like I had so much time where I just like didn't feel like I was worth anything. Like I was like this guy, I was sending out all these messages, no one would respond to me. I had all these big dreams and like I had all these ideas, but no one would take my like time of day. And so like, just if I could have known like what was going to happen the next 8 years and like how like more confident I am myself and like how much more worthy I see myself of like whatever I am doing, like that would have been really helpful to hear. Cause like at that time, like I really did not think very highly of myself, but I knew I could like do it. So yeah, just that I am worthy.
Do you think it's a societal thing with males at 20 and just thing like who would have been the person to tell you that, or what in the universe would have helped make you feel more confident, right?
I don't think I think I could have had actually, and it contradicts what I just said, but I don't think anyone could have told me, even if it was Elon or my dad or my brothers or my dog, and they could have all told me you are worthy, but I wouldn't have listened. I would have still had to go out and like do the thing and show myself. Yeah. So yeah, that's just part of, I don't know whether it's being a guy or like growing up, but it's been a big thing in my life.
Yeah. And I guess it's the going through it is part of the shaping, right? Like
I think that's it. I needed to feel the suck and I needed to understand what that was like and then get through and look back on it and be like, you are worthy, like that, like kudos to you.
Yeah. Well, you are, but I get what you mean. It's a confidence thing, right? Yeah. Like, all right. You obviously are trying to stay fit mentally and healthily. What do you do? Like, what's your regime, especially given all the stress of running Prefer and the high energy level that you seem to have? Yeah. I do have a lot of energy. Yeah.
Monday through Friday, I do like a hard rule. I'll spend 45 minutes in the gym listening to podcasts. Like I said, I grew up playing tennis all my life. So like my body needs to like get the demons out of me or else I get some weird energy building up. So like 45 minutes before work, Monday through Friday, podcast in, workout. That I need that. And then recently on the weekends, I've been doing these long runs where I'll raw dog it. I won't do anything in the ears, just like time.
Oh, that's brave, man. That's brave.
But that's how you know you're real messed up. Yeah. Like that's how you know you really like. People talk about, I got demons, all that, but like that's like the way they really.
So phone's not even on you?
No, nothing. Yeah, got nothing. If I pass out, like someone come get me. No, I got nothing. Got this little thing.
He's raw dogging it.
I'm raw dogging it, and I've been going like 15 kilometers. I'm doing half marathon soon, so that has been awesome. I do that early on a Saturday morning, and Yeah, that helps me.
Just punch it out.
Yeah, it feels good.
Anything on the mental side, or is that the mental stuff, like the Iron Curtain kind of being in the gym is
Since I was, well, that does help a lot. That's probably the main thing. But since I was 16, I have always kept a journal since I was young. I went through some pretty dark stuff when I was 16, and my mom was like, "You should go to therapy." And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Okay, at least like write in this book." And so then I started writing in the book every day. So yeah, I do keep a journal on me. Today, it's like my journal game has really gone down. Today, now I just do 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning. It takes me about like 30 seconds, but I used to do like full journals and all that.
Maybe you've evened out a little bit, so there's less demons to write down.
There is less stuff to write about. When I started making it, started feeling a little bit more like a job I had to do, and I didn't really know, like things weren't like flowing as much. I was like, okay, maybe like its purpose is sort of done for now. Maybe one day I'll come back to it, but for now, just again trying to stay positive, think about gratitude.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Okay, so you mentioned podcasts.
Yeah.
Which type of podcasts do you listen to?
I love listening to founders talking about businesses they're building.
Like the Generalist podcast you
I love the Generalist podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joking.
Strictly Generalist podcast. No, right now I'm listening to, it's called The Green Blueprint. So it's about climate tech companies' blueprints of building businesses, and they're bringing out some really awesome founders. So it's very, very like relevant
Specific
for what I'm doing. Yeah. When we were raising money, I was listening to a bunch of like 20 VC with Harry Stebbings just to get into the mind of the investor. But that guy just annoys me.
He's gotten a little over the top, I think. Maybe it's with all his success.
Maybe. Yeah. I think he was starting to annoy me because I was speaking to so many investors, hearing so many no's. I was like, I just can't listen to this anymore.
I like that show where it's the 3 of them now, because that Rory guy tends to take the piss out of him a little bit. Like, okay, Harry, come on, get off your pedestal. You know, you're like, thank you, Rory. I want to like type it, Rory, go. Like, clip that guy's wings just a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, how do you keep all the, if you're listening to all these things, how do you internalize or grab your tidbits from it? Or, are there things that you glean from them? And what's your process for like, is it just, I heard something, or do you write something down? Because it's a lot of information,
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually, once I finish a podcast, I'm pretty disciplined about going to ChatGPT and saying, like, give me like the top 5 insights from this podcast. And then it'll usually be enough then I'll put it in my notes. And when I go back and look through my notes, it's usually enough to trigger the thoughts that I was having when those things were said.
Yeah.
So if I ever want to refer back to it.
Interesting.
That's
it's a good one. Habit. Because I have all the same routine.
Oh, you do?
With podcasts, almost every day, 40 minutes.
You don't raw dog your runs,
I don't. Though. No, man, I'm 43. No, I'm not joking. But I want someone will find me if I will pass out. Maybe he doesn't want, but I want.
A little bit of danger. A little bit of danger on Saturday morning.
I do run.
It's not that dangerous.
It's like I tell my kids, where are you going to go? Like, exactly. Once you hit the ocean, you've gone too far.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm
all the way up to the barrage, man. You'll never find me.
Exactly.
I'm also running there, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, it's a good point with podcasts. Yeah. I will do that. Thank you.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. No, this is great. Thanks for doing this. Congrats on the raise. And I think, what we were hoping to get out of this was just share with people that, there's something interesting being built that is not software, right? That a lot of people, and is something that I think has a world stage ahead for you. So that's super cool. So thanks for doing this. Thanks, team, for hooking us up.
Yep.
Appreciate the drinks, and good luck with the next round of your business success.
Appreciate it.
You're going to be successful. I can feel it.
Yeah. I am worthy.
You're worthy.
You are worthy.
I want to say it, but you say it. So it's good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.